People saying that I see people saying that Mahmoud's rights are being violated on behalf of a foreign nation, and I want to be very clear about something. The imaginary state is an extension of the racism, the white supremacy, and the capitalist domination that is manufactured here in the United States of America. Okay? Mahmoud's rights are being violated in service of U.S. authoritarian interests. And I want to be very clear. This does not just stop with pro-Palestinian protesters. If you were outside in 2020 protesting against the Trump administration and against police brutality, you might also be on the list. If you have said anything negative about the tiny hand, Cheeto thin-skinned dictator that is Donald J. Trump, then you might very well be on the list. If you have said anything negative about that unqualified colonizer that bought this election for that tiny hand, thin-skinned, Cheeto-fingered person that is in our White House right now, then you might also be on the list because they are showing you that they are willing to delegitimize their own institutions in order to carry out their authoritarianism. There are people in Congress right now whose salaries we pay for who are absolutely silent about a person with a green card, a naturalized person who was married to an American citizen here legally, who is having his First Amendment rights violated by an authoritarian regime. They are saying nothing. So I guess my question is, if they do not believe in their own institutions and laws, then why do you? If they do not believe in their own institutions and laws, then why do you? Because first it starts with trans people. First it starts with pro-Palestine protesters. First it starts with black folks who speak a little too loudly about their rights to reparations in this country, about their right to equality and equity in this country. And boom, you are disappeared. So if it can be any of them, why the fuck couldn't it be you? If you made it this far into the video, comment Free Mahmoud into the chat. Love y'all so much. Bye.
Yes, Professor Affini hits it out of the ballpark again.
Feeny is the GOAT. She's the GOAT. Telling you, man. I love her, man. Don't worry, we're gonna bring her on to the ATP network. It's a process, but we'll get there.
Awesome. Yeah,
So
if I'm a little bit less mobile today, for some reason my right arm is having some issues. So I don't know if maybe I
okay,
pulled something or slept on
yeah,
it wrong or just getting
yeah.
old, man. I'm getting old.
Me too, man. Yeah. All right. So what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the A&M podcast with me, Andre, and Mike over there. The A&M podcast is on the ATP network. Catch the ATP network. We're available on almost all major platforms. Um, and we everywhere. So the tick on the bottom, follow us. That's all of our usernames on Twitter. And also too, guys, while you watching, like the video. It don't cost you a damn thing. It's free. Like I always say on other like. So yeah. So Mike, what's your thoughts on the Affinity clip?
Yeah. So right now, this gentleman is not even formally charged with a crime.
Yep.
Uh, Marco Rubio used his personal account, not his Twitter account, but his personal account, to uh, confirm that he has not been charged or convicted of any crime, but he's considered a national security threat, and that is why he's being deported, or words to that effect.
Yeah.
He is a permanent resident of the United States with his green card. His wife or girlfriend is about to give birth to their kid. She's like in her ninth month of pregnancy. He's a legal resident, and they're trying to deport him because Columbia University is run by a Zionist, former IDF member, and yeah, that they're making an example out of this guy. Never mind that
Yeah.
they're breaking the law, holding him,
Yeah.
and that
Yep.
they have no standing to deport him. That actually has to be decided by an immigration judge, like someone who's specifically has a jurisdiction to rule on green cards. You know, people who hold green cards, because there are people who have visas and are not permanent or temporary residents of the United States, and then there are people who have green cards. Those are people who have earned permanent resident status. They're not citizens yet, but they're permanent
Yeah.
residents, and they are in the process of becoming naturalized.
Yep. Exactly. I'm gonna say this, like, yeah, they coming after my mood now. We're next, man. Like anybody that speaks up against, what the State Department want us to believe and see, like, yeah, we're next, man. Liz, she said that herself too. Like, yeah, yeah, like they come after him, they gonna come after us later, man.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
and yeah, and then of course there's the fucktardery over at NIH, which is the National Institute of Health. I think that's what it stands for. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and then yeah, because measles is rapidly reaching epidemic status here in the United
yep,
States. It's also being picked up in Europe. No surprises there. But it's pretty much the unvaccinated. Children have already died from
yeah,
measles. Not many, not yet, but
yeah. It's gonna get worse.
yeah. And the thing about measles is, no, you're not going to develop immunity to measles after getting it. Okay, that the feculent imbeciles who are saying, "Oh yeah, this is a great way to build immunities. We should have measles parties just like we had chickenpox parties, to make us immune." Okay, well, first of all, chickenpox is not measles. All right, the only thing giving us chickenpox as kids gave us was a prospect of developing shingles later in life. Okay, I got the shingles vaccine so I can not get an outbreak because I am
Yeah,
over 50.
yeah,
But yeah, that's the situation we're in where they want to have measles parties. Measles completely wipes out your immune system's memory.
damn,
That anything that you were immunized against, either through prior infection or vaccination, that's gone. You might
damn.
as well never have been vaccinated at all if you get measles.
Yeah, this man. They're like the same people that said if they keep getting COVID, they get herd immunity.
Yeah,
Same
you
shit.
cannot develop herd immunity to a virus that actually attacks and damages the immune system. That's why
Exactly.
HIV is so devastating. And the only reason we've been able to keep it in check so far is because of the expensive, very expensive cocktail of drugs needed to keep people alive.
Yeah, yeah.
Because otherwise, you're looking at like maybe 5, 10 years of life after getting HIV if you go untreated.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think of like celebrity athlete like Magic Johnson that was keeping him alive.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
He was very lucky in that he was wealthy enough that he could afford that treatment.
yeah,
If
right,
he was just a regular guy on the street like you or me, no, you never would have made it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's wild, man. Um, yeah, uh,
Yeah, and that moron Kennedy is basically saying, "Oh yeah, take cod liver oil, vitamin A, and whatever placebo." He's like, "No, dude, none of that shit's gonna work.
oh God,
You cannot
oh
exercise your way out of measles or
yeah,
COVID or any other disease that will destroy your immune system and leave you
yeah,
crippled for life. You cannot
yeah,
exercise your way out of polio. We know people have tried. Okay,
yeah,
we had
yeah.
an
That
actual president of the United States crippled by polio in adulthood
yeah,
before he was
yeah,
even 40 years old.
yeah,
Was never able to walk again without the aid of uh, a special set of leg braces.
yeah, yeah. That reminded me of that time too when Doorknob was saying like, the vaccine. He shitted on the vaccine, and then he said, um, take all these supplements for COVID and all that shit. Like
Yeah,
that's when I
he's full of
fell
shit.
out of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's full of shit. The boy just his brain melted when COVID struck. Okay, because
yeah,
he's a supposed comedian. I've never found him funny actually, but he's supposed to be a comedian, which means in order for him to do stand up, he has to have sold out crowds. That's how he makes his money.
yeah,
If he can't do that, he's not getting the money. That's why he turned to YouTube during the early years of the pandemic because we
yeah,
still had some mild restrictions.
yeah, yeah. He was in California too, so yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Cost of living in California is ridiculous. I feel sorry for anyone who lives there and is making anything under $50 or $60 an hour because otherwise you're not
yeah,
even going to be able to afford a basic 2 bedroom apartment.
yeah. They got the highest housing costs in the whole country. So yeah, unless you're a celebrity, I don't know how you making it, man. I'm telling you.
Well,
Yeah, good luck.
even in Hollywood now. Sorry, let me adjust my camera here. But even in Hollywood now, it's getting almost impossible to make a living uh, using the regular venues that we are used to thinking of. Because the days when a Hollywood actor could be making like $100,000 an episode or $1 million a season or whatever, those are gone. All
Oh
right,
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
well,
You need to make
those are
millions
long
now.
gone.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Most
need to.
actors today barely get anything from television work, and even for commercials. One of the reasons for the strike that we had a couple years ago was because of the use of AI and uh, CGI. They wanted to go ahead and make 3D scans of actors' likenesses so that they could use them as background extras and never have to pay them again. So you get one paycheck for
Yeah.
one time, and it's like, okay, yeah, here's a couple grand to get scanned in, and oh, by the way, you'll never actually work again because now we can use your likeness and we don't have to pay you.
That's
Like, what?
wild.
What would you accept that?
Yeah. Why would you? Yeah. I guess they justification is to give you a big lump sum or some shit like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Once they realized that they
you
could
ain't gonna live off of that.
digitally de-age an actor who's like in his like 80s or 90s and make him look 30 or 40 again,
Yeah.
like people were making fun of the Star Black Pew Card TV show that rebooted the Next Generation with Patrick Stewart basically taking over writing duties. It felt like, um, but that they had Brent Spiner come back as Data, who's the sentient android from Star Trek: The Next Generation, got killed off in Star Trek Nemesis in 2002 because he was aging out of the role and he wanted to move on and do other stuff. He didn't want to keep doing the role, so they killed off the character. Uh, But of course, thief Alex Klutzman decided, no, we're going to bring him back and bring him back again
And again.
and bring him back again. Yeah.
Oh
So
God.
yeah. So they use this like de aging technique, but it looked all wrong. And although fortunately the version that I was able to watch, they actually fixed it in post production, so he actually almost looked halfway normal. But yeah, they really have been working on de aging actors, and they did it for season 2. They had John Delancey, who had played the omnipotent godlike being Q on the TV show, and you know he's supposed to be immortal and ageless. And uh, for season 2, that they had him come back, and you know at first he appears young like he did in the first seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and then he does this flash thing, and then he's old again, uh, and then yeah, but very very insidious technology being used right now to replace live actors and basically cut human beings out of the equation. So you really do not have the power in Hollywood as an actor that you did even 15 years ago,
Right.
because now the studio can scan your likeness and never have to pay you again. So it's like, well, what the fuck are you going to do? You're going to take whatever you can get, whether it's commercials or whatever, like shit paying job, and
Yeah.
it's nothing like you cannot make 20 million a film anymore unless you're like Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Speaking of AI, they use James Earl Jones' voice now. They bought his
Yeah,
likeness for his
yeah,
voice.
he recorded a bunch of dialogue that let them faithfully reproduce his voice for Darth Vader. So anytime they want to
Yeah.
use it for any further sequels or reboots or prequels or whatever the fuck they want to do, it's yeah, I just
I
don't like.
know.
Uh, but I think they've been trying to do the same thing for Kevin Conroy, who passed away from cancer a while back. He's he was the voice of Batman on the animated series, and it basically became Batman for an entire generation of people.
Hmm.
Much the same way Adam West did for people like you and me growing up. Much the same way Michael Keaton during the 1989 and 1992. He came to define the role for a while, and then after that, it was basically Kevin Conroy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
But they keep trying to get him
It's
and Mark
crazy.
Hamill, doing Batman and Joker. It's like, and the reason for that is because no one else seems to be able to really capture the spirit of the characters the way those two actors could. So, I'm
Yeah.
sure Mark Hamill has already. Well, there actually is an actor who sounds a lot like Mark Hamill and who's been doing the Joker voice occasionally, but they still cast like whoever. But
Yeah.
some actors and actresses that they just will always be associated with certain roles, and I think right now AI is the way that studios are going to try and resurrect these actors as computer programs and just never have
Yeah.
to pay people again.
Yeah.
There is a reason why Gene Hackman, may he rest in peace, there is a reason why he retired when he did. Although I wish his last movie hadn't been Welcome to Mooseport.
Oh yeah.
God,
Yeah.
that was a
Yeah.
mediocre movie.
That movie sucked.
Yeah, Ray
Yeah.
Milano as he's not funny.
Uh,
Uh,
yeah.
I don't know what the appeal was for Everybody Loves Raymond,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but, but yeah, NIH is
Okay.
halting some incredibly important stuff right now, and it is just
Scary.
yeah. It says it's going to terminate or limit grants related to vaccine hesitancy and uptake. The order covers over 40 awards to researchers around the country seeking to understand why vaccine acceptance has declined. Well, it's because of the misinformation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, the National Institutes of Health will cancel or cut back dozens of grants for research on why some people are reluctant to be vaccinated and how to increase acceptance of vaccines, according to an internal email obtained by the Washington Post on Monday. This is by Carolyn Johnson and Joel Achenbach at the Washington Post. But it says the email titled Required Terminations 3/10/25 shows that on Monday morning, the agency received a new list of awards that need to be terminated today. It has been determined that they do not align with NIH funding priorities related to vaccine hesitancy and or uptake. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the new secretary of NIH's parent agency, the Department of Health and Human Services, has disparaged vaccines for years. He gained national notoriety over the past 2 decades by promoting misinformation about vaccines and a conjecture linked to autism, drawing widespread condemnation from the scientific community. It's unclear if Kennedy had a role directly or indirectly in the move to cancel these grants, but his ascendancy to HHS leadership has caused a stir in the research community. Last week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, another part of HHS, was asked by the Trump regime to launch a study into possible connection between vaccines and autism, despite repeated research that shows no link between the two. Which brings me to my next link. Thanks to Ian Copeland, who is one of the experts on this topic. But this is from April 21st, 2015. Autism occurrence by MMR vaccine status among U.S. children with older siblings with and without autism. And the abstract basically shows it says no link found between measles, mumps, rubella vaccine and autism spectrum disorders. Beliefs that the vaccine causes autism persist, leading to lower vaccination levels. Parents who already have a child with ASD may be especially wary of vaccinations. So this is a situation where Kennedy and his British mentor, Andrew Wakefield, who lost his license to practice medicine in the UK because of unethical experiments he performed on children that were just described as torturous, and had to drop a lawsuit against the journalist who exposed him because that would have meant having to reveal his shady research methods and his money ties to placebo snake oil. Basically, is what it is. It's placebo snake oil, because he wanted to make money with his cockamamie bullshit, and he couldn't do that as long as the existing vaccines were around. So it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to try and link this to bowel disorders, which somehow have something to do with autism. It's like, no, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he was doing these unethical experiments on small children, trying to prove a causal link between the vaccines and some kind of bowel disorder, and how that ties into autism, we don't know. We don't want to know, quite
Exactly.
frankly. But yeah, so but then you get celebrities like Kennedy, and then also like Jenny McCarthy, Jim Carrey, who are virulent anti-vaxxers, pun intended. But yeah, that they just spread all this bullshit, and they know it's bullshit because they see the same information we do,
Yeah.
and they just make shit up.
Yeah. Yeah. Dangerous, man. That's why the measles outbreak is happening because of
Yeah,
misinformation. Yeah.
measles, polio.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring back the disease that causes cervical cancer, which is a HPV, which
Oh
is
yeah.
a virus that causes chlamydia, but it can also lead to certain forms of cancer. That they're really bad news. And they had developed a vaccine called Gardasil, which actually has been pretty effective at preventing HPV infections and preventing the development of these cancers within women and young girls. And now that they're trying to get rid of that using bullshit studies that supposedly show a link between that and unexplained deaths. And the study, of course, was found to have been riddled with errors and outright falsifications because they were including people who died from means other than HPV or
Yeah.
the vaccine. So that you can't even prove a link because you can't even eliminate people who died from other causes. It's kind of
Exactly.
like with the bullshit claims of vaccines causing long COVID. Well, no, no, you cannot prove that because one, uh, you first have to have an uncontaminated population, meaning a group of people uh, sufficiently large enough who have not been infected with COVID. And by now, because they've decided we're just going to let it rip and not do anything, uh, how many people are there left who actually haven't been infected with COVID to compare
Exactly.
and have been vaccinated in order to compare against people who uh, were not vaccinated and yet got long COVID and people who were vaccinated and got long COVID? You can't do a proper study without a control group.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So
People.
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that brings me to the next thing because there's a couple of issues that you might want to consider if you're thinking of skipping the vaccines. So, post-acute SARS-CoV-2 antigen, I can't even pronounce it. I won't even try. But basically, they're saying that there is some kind of antigen anemia that is associated with some, but not all, long COVID studies. And we can link all this in the description. But basically,
Okay.
they're learning about how a lot of the causes of long COVID may be linked to some of these antigens. And then, of course, and this is a reason why uh, trying to stop children from getting vaccinated under the idea that somehow destroying their immune systems with an immune destroying virus will make them immune. So there are links to multi system inflammatory syndrome in children as a result of COVID infections. Uh, So, in a subset of children and adolescents, SARS-CoV-2 infection induces severe acute hyperinflammatory shock, termed multisystem inflammatory syndrome in children, so MISC, at 48 weeks after infection. MISC is characterized by a specific T cell expansion and systemic inflammation. The pathogenesis of MISC remains largely unknown. Here we show that acute MISC is characterized by impaired reactivation of virus reactive memory T cells, which depends on increased serum levels of the cytokine TIGF beta, resembling those that occur during severe COVID 19. So basically, once you get past all the jargon, it's basically not good for kids' immune systems.
Mm-hmm. And they said that kids don't get sick from it, which is
Yeah, and if
wow.
yeah, and if that's not bad enough, if you're a guy and you plan
Oh.
on having kids, one in five
Oh.
men surveyed had erectile dysfunction up to 2 years after COVID.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, try getting that population up there, muskrat, when guys can't get it up because of COVID.
Oh my god. Oh
You're
man.
letting COVID rip.
Yeah. Like, see, this is what happens when your government loves more money than you people. Like, they rather you have erectile dysfunction 2 years after COVID rather than doing the right precautions and
Yeah,
locking shit down and protecting people. Tell people, well, fuck it, I'm mask. Like, oh my god,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, these white supremacists are so concerned about the white population declining. Well, have you considered that maybe you've made having children prohibitively expensive
yeah,
on a planet that is rapidly becoming uninhabitable and
yeah,
where they have no future, like no hope of getting any education or any decent standard of living on a planet that won't be able to keep them alive into adulthood. And then on top of that, you're infecting people with a virus that is known to make people infertile and impotent.
shit. So basically,
But you're worried that
yeah,
whites are being replaced. Well, how about you stop making life impossible for people across the board to actually have, and stop infecting them with viruses that prevent us from being able to reproduce?
yeah, that'd be smart. Yeah.
because churning out babies, you kind of have to actually be able to extract semen and
Yeah.
and get it to fertilize an egg, which is prohibitively difficult. Especially if you're a boy with in the ballpark of $400 billion to his name, who was alleged to have a penile implant that went wrong, horribly, horribly wrong. And instead of actually touching women, he appears to have sired all of his children through IVF, so he could
Oh God.
make sure that he had all boys, because apparently he hates women so much that the thought of producing a daughter is uh, unacceptable to him. So, and then of course he still ended up with a trans daughter.
Oh
And
God.
he was
Ho-
disowned and
Yeah. Yeah.
basically says it's dead to him because uh, his daughter didn't turn out the way he wanted her to.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard about that actually from
Yeah,
Karolinski. Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah,
wild.
it's yeah. So Muskrat, Drumpf. I know you're both
Trump.
too old and stupid to get it up because one is in his pushing one is pushing 80 and probably hasn't been able to get it up in years, and the other decided I'm going to turn myself into a walking Rob Liefeld drawing
Oh my God.
and permanently mess up my dick so that I can so I can look like that image of Captain America from the early '90s, drawn by Rob Liefeld. Actually, let's look that up. Actually,
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah. Oh my God, bro. my. Oh God. Yeah. These people wild, man. They wilding out here, ain't it, Mike? Oh shit.
Yeah,
So why?
let's look at this. Oh my God, this is just insane.
Oh my God. Can't wait to see this shit.
Yeah, let me call this up because you have to see this to believe it, people. That's all I'm going to say. But this is friggin' pop-ups. But yeah, this is Rob Liefeld, Captain America.
Oh my God. Oh shit.
Yeah, Rob
Oh
Liefeld got big in the 1990s. Uh,
yeah.
uh, see, 1990s were not good for Marvel Comics in terms of artists. I mean, they had Jim Lee coming on board to do X Men. Chris Claremont had left the title, killed off Magneto as his closing story, leaving the X Men uh, during the 1990s, and then. But during the late 80s, early 90s, there was a dearth of good artists. They had Brett Blevins doing the penciling on a comic book called New Mutants, which was an offshoot of the X Men titles. Uh, and then Brett Blevins left in the late 80s, early 90s. And then Rob Liefeld was brought on board to replace him. And he's the one who created like Cable, Deadpool, Domino, so characters like that. Uh, but he very infamously could not draw to save his life. And this is the proof right here, this unholy abomination of a drawing.
Hey,
And if you
man.
actually look,
Oh Lord.
let me stop sharing for a second. But if you actually look at Muskrat without a shirt, come on, you. Because I want you to see this, people. Because once you see it side by side, you're going to shit yourselves.
Oh my God. Man, I can't wait to see this shit.
All right. So again, here, Rob Liefeld, Captain America,
Oh
freak of
boy.
nature.
Oh boy.
Like, what's up with that chest and the way it sticks out? And
I stick out like
yeah,
that.
I mean, he's supposed to do this in somewhat profile, but it's not working. And now here's Elon Muskrat, the living embodiment,
Oh my god.
the living embodiment of
Oh,
the
what
Rob
the?
Liefeld drawing. So let's, yeah. So right here
Yeah.
and right here, Rob Liefeld, Rob Liefeld.
Ah.
So I probably should have uh, gone ahead and warned you if you're eating or have not eaten yet.
It's good I
You
ate.
might want to, yeah.
It's good I ate before I saw
Yeah,
that.
I ate a while ago, so
Me
I don't
too.
have to worry about vomiting up my dinner.
Oh, okay,
But then
God.
Elon Muskrat.
Yeah, it's muskrat for you. Yeah. Yeah.
This is what trying to turn yourself into a '90s meme does to a person.
Oh, God. I guess he
Because
saw that.
yeah,
Yeah.
because when you think about it, this boy fancies himself like Tony Stark or whatever, but he's really just Rob Liefeld, Captain America.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. I
Well,
just
see, now
yeah.
we know why
It's
he
too,
has to use IVF in order to have children because he can't get laid to save his life.
yeah.
It's like no woman who has any self worth or self respect would even think of touching him. That's why he has to
Yeah.
do IVF.
Yeah.
Well, that and I
Yeah.
think he's probably closeted too. I mean,
Oh
there's
yeah.
yeah
Thought about that.
one of the
Yeah.
reasons Gawker got closed down during the 2000s was because Peter Thiel, who's the money behind JD Vance, the couch fucker, uh, multi-billionaire and very powerful, but Gawker did a series of stories alleging that he was a closeted homosexual, and Thiel didn't like that. So he went to Hulk Hogan, who was in the process of suing Gawker for doing an expose where he went on. He was friends with Bubba the Love Sponge, who had this radio uh, or internet radio show, and so Bubba went ahead and secretly filmed Hulk Hogan having sex with his wife, and Hogan was being recorded and didn't realize it. So he was talking the way right wing assholes always talk when they think no one's recording them and saying what was exactly on his mind. And he was tossing out the N word and other racial slurs. And
Yeah.
so, anyway, this tape got leaked. Gawker got a hold of it and Hulk Hogan sued. And Peter Thiel was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to throw my money behind this lawsuit and we're going to get Gawker shut down. And that's actually what happened. Gawker got sued into oblivion. Uh, so now, in order to look up any articles from that website, you have to go onto Internet Archive websites to try and find it.
Jeez. Yeah. Wow. That's yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but do you think maybe, in addition to the failed penile implant, maybe one of the reasons Muskrat can't get it up anymore, it's because he's gotten COVID all these uh,
Yeah.
so many times. I
And
don't know how many,
hey. Yeah. Yeah.
but considering he doesn't take any mitigation uh, measures whatsoever,
Yeah.
and he forces people back into the office and he never wears masks. I think
Yeah.
it's probably a safe bet that he's had COVID at least 5 times
Yeah.
at this point, and probably, yeah, that. But yeah, his pasty doughboy ass that looks like something out of a '90s comic book horror, comic book body horror, I should say. Oh my god!
Man, that's some man.
If you thought Human Centipede or Tusk was gross, Elon Musk got his shirt. That is enough to make me toss my lunch. But never fret though. I mean, it's not completely hopeless. That there is a few reasons to have hope. For example, potent and broadly neutralizing antibodies against uh, sarbecoviruses elicited by a single ancestral SARS-CoV-2 infection. So, the emergence of SARS-CoV-2 variants presents challenges for antibody therapeutics, emphasizing the need for more potent and broadly neutralizing antibodies. Here we employed an unbiased screening approach and successfully isolated 2 antibodies from individuals with only exposure to the ancestral variant. So one of those antibodies, CYFN1006-1, exhibited robust cross-neutralization against a spectrum of SARS-CoV-2 variants, including the latest KP2, KP3, and XEC, and consistent with IC50 values ranging from more or less 1 to 5. I'm not even going to try and
Nanograms,
that.
milliliter.
Uh, well, it's NG. N is a Nicholas G, so I don't know what that milliliter,
Okay.
presumably,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
Milliliter.
microliters. It also
Okay.
displayed broad neutralization activity against SARS-CoV-2, no SARS-CoV, which I'm presuming is the original SARS. All right, so yeah, so basically, this is promising in that this may actually have some uh, applications into neutralizing antibodies, which means better vaccines and treatments.
Yeah.
And a new drug could actually block COVID-19 before it starts, according to a study published on the virginia.edu website.
That's good.
And so this says a breakthrough medication may help stop COVID-19 before it starts for people exposed at home, offering hope for families with high-risk loved ones. The Scorpio PEP trial found the drug in enzitrelvir. I cannot pronounce these names. Can they actually get drug names
Yeah.
that actually people can pronounce?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
so
be
already approved in Japan
mispronounced.
to treat people with mild to moderate COVID-19 may protect against the illness. In the study, uninfected people who began taking the antiviral within 72 hours of a household member developing symptoms were significantly less likely to contract COVID-19 than people who were given a placebo. Among the more than 2,000 trial participants in the United States and abroad, 9% of those taking the placebo developed confirmed COVID-19, compared to 2.9% of those taking and Sotralver and 67% reduction in risk. So, in addition to vaccination, post-exposure prophylaxis with timely use of an oral antiviral would be a valuable way to help prevent COVID-19 illness in people who've been exposed, especially for people at high risk for severe disease. And then over in China, investigation of the mechanism of action of Xinhuang Jidu against SARS-CoV-2 infection and inflammation based on network pharmacology and experimental validation. So, so basically, the objective is to try and develop treatment for COVID-19 that'll basically be effective, because ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine are placebos, that they have no effect on COVID.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
so the aim of the study was to assess the potential and mechanism of a de novo designed TCM preparation, which I'm just going to abbreviate here as JHJD, which is composed of Jinying Hua. Okay, I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce these because I'll butcher it. But basically, they're looking into this as a potential for preventing people from getting sick, even if they get infected, but developing full-blown COVID-19 from SARS-2 infection, that this might actually block it. But this is actually might lead to a better vaccine because it effectively blocked the binding of both the wild type and the Omicron RBD of SARS-CoV-2 to human ACE2, and which is a type of immunoreceptor. Uh, so basically, it completely inhibited the infection of SARS-CoV-2 pseudovirus to ACE2 positive host cells in vitro. So basically, this might actually lead to a better vaccine.
Yeah,
And then
that'd be good.
finally, this is from about almost a week ago. Game-changing vaccine offers long-lasting protection against COVID-19 and flu. Cornell researchers have developed a stable multi-target vaccine offering long-lasting protection against COVID-19 and influenza with promising results in mice. So yeah, they've developed a new vaccine platform designed to offer stronger, longer-lasting protection against both COVID-19 and influenza while providing broader immunity against various flu strains. A study published in Science Advances found that vaccinated mice showed no visible signs of illness and exhibited no cellular damage in their tissues. Now, this is important because what do we know about COVID-19? It wreaks havoc on our tissues, on our cells. It attacks the
Yes.
mitochondria within our cells, which might explain accelerated aging and fatigue, because mitochondria are these ancient cells that entered into animal and plant cells, millions of years ago. Back when we were still in like the single cell organism stage, and instead of being devoured, they basically took up residence there in this kind of like symbiotic relationship. And so, from that point onward, every organism has mitochondria cells within. It's basically a cell that acts as an organelle of a cell, and
Yeah.
basically acts as a powerhouse of your cells. So imagine a cell that acts like a little battery that helps feed your cells and keeps them from starving to death.
Yeah.
That's what mitochondria are. Well,
Yeah.
SARS-CoV-2 attacks those.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
Without mitochondria, your chances of generating enough energy to get up off the floor start going down. So,
Yeah.
so this is actually a pretty big development. Uh, so one of the big moments was when we started achieving 100% survival and lack of clinical disease in all of the vaccinated mice following challenge with either SARS-CoV-2 or influenza virus, said Richard Adelecki, first author and doctoral candidate in the field of immunology and infectious diseases. While current vaccines for SARS-CoV-2, the virus responsible for COVID-19 and influenza, are both safe and variably effective, there remains room for improvement. COVID-19 mRNA vaccines are highly temperature sensitive, posing challenges for distribution and administration in regions without reliable cold chain infrastructure. Meanwhile, current influenza vaccines with efficacy often below 50% struggle to protect against the numerous strains of the virus. Both vaccines also offer relatively short-lived immunity, necessitating annual or even more frequent booster doses, making it harder to administer. So I want you to keep this in mind. The mRNA vaccines are temperature sensitive, meaning that you have to keep them refrigerated in order
Yeah.
to keep them from spoiling.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember the video game The Last of Us
Yeah.
that got adapted into a TV show, and the ending was based on this lunatic idea that if you can kill one girl to save all of humanity, would you do that? And the protagonist demonstrates, nope, I'm not going to do that. Well, there's a reason why. Because it's stupid to kill off the one living person who has any immunity to the plague that is wiping out humanity. Because how the fuck are you going to store the tissues once you've extracted them from the specimen and killed her?
Yeah.
How are you going to
Yeah.
keep them
That's
without
a great
any
question.
refrigeration or any
Exactly.
cryogenics? And even if you do manage to develop a working vaccine against a fungal infection, which again is stupid because vaccines work on viruses, not fungi. You need an antifungal medication
Exactly.
to treat a fungal, and that's the thing that causes zombie plague in The Last of Us. And it's not a undead zombies; it's people who are infected with a cordyceps fungus that mutated to infect people. Um, so then you have to figure out a way to mass produce it and store it. If it's temperature sensitive, how are you going to keep it refrigerated? How are you going to distribute it to the population? So there's all these factors that require keeping your source alive
Yep.
for further study and for clinical trials and all that stuff. And that's why that game was the ending moral quandary was just so stupid, and why the sequel uh, bombed so spectacularly with
Yeah.
half the fans of the first game, because it's like, you motherfucker. It's like, I mean, never mind that the suspension of disbelief breaking ending that you gave us. We were willing to forgive that because it was a game with a good story, and well developed characters who were fleshed out and sympathetic and likable, and it's a very good post apocalyptic narrative. And then you shit the bed with the sequel
Oh my God. Exactly.
because reasons. But yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to go into that because yeah, vaccines actually, a lot of them do require refrigeration, and if you don't have that, uh, you're not going to be able to get that vaccine to people who live in warmer climates where refrigeration is problematic. Um, so yeah, that's just something that popped up to mind when I discussed that. Um, but yeah, this is not good because Kennedy, being the fucking idiot he is probably going to get a lot of people killed who otherwise would live,
Yeah.
because he wants to be the anti-Fauci and just expose everyone and offer placebos instead of actually doing his fucking job. And it's
Yeah.
clear he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, because in interview after interview, where he's actually had to answer questions from people who actually know what the fuck they're talking about with regards to virology and immunology, and he's constantly going in unprepared because he already thinks he knows it all.
Exactly. Yeah. I noticed that too, man. It's crazy. Then he pretend like you the
And he
dumb
ends
one
up
too.
being made a fool of in public because it's obvious he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's probably one of the least informed people on the planet,
Yeah.
but he presumes to be one of the smartest.
Exactly. Like, yeah, he pretends like you the dumb one, or you the
We
fear
we are
monger
living
one.
in the worst fucking timeline. I swear.
Yeah, man. Like, man, I don't think we're gonna make it these 4 years, Mike.
Somebody invented DeLorean that can travel back in time, dude.
Oh yes, yes,
Don't
please.
use the Cybertruck, okay? That is
Got his can
that,
on
that is the
wheels. Oh my
fastest way
God.
to have the bloody thing explode during transit. All right, no, um, no,
Yeah, yeah.
bring back the DeLorean. All right.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. DeLorean or something. Yeah. Oh
I mean,
God.
seriously,
What?
if you had told me when I was 11 years old watching Back to the Future for the first time on the big screen in the theaters, my dad took us in, yeah, I think it was New Year's Day of 1985 or something like that, uh, where uh, where we watch Back to the Future on the big screen. All right, if you had told my 11-year-old self that some multi-billionaire would make a car worse than a fucking DeLorean, and that the DeLorean would actually look better even in 2025
Oh my
than this
God, that's so true.
monstrosity of a vehicle.
Oh my, it looks incomplete. Oh my God.
It is incomplete. All right, it's like, I mean, there's, let me
Yeah. Oh my
let me
God.
call up the image. I've got it somewhere. Someone actually had posted a picture, and I've got it right here. And I'll bring it up on my screen, but when you see it, you're going to shit yourself. What's
Oh my
happening?
God. Oh wow.
Because this thing is so fucking spot on. Up top is a Cybertruck. Below that, public restroom waste paper.
Yeah.
Sorry for it being so small, but that's the largest I could find
Yeah. It's
in
cool.
short order.
Yeah.
But this is what we're dealing with.
Oh my God. Now
Elon
I see people.
Muskrat was in the restroom one day at Tesla, and he saw this thing, this stupid thing on bottom,
Yeah.
and said, "You know what? I just watched that episode of The Simpsons with Danny DeVito guest starring as a voice of Homer's half brother,
Mm-hmm.
where he asks Homer to design the car that'll save his car company, and he designs a piece of shit. I'm totally going to do that, dude. I'm going to be a real life Homer Simpson and design a car that looks even worse."
Oh my God,
That
bro.
that is Elon Muskrat. Okay, this is an ADHD nepo baby who has never worked a day in his life, has produced nothing useful at all
Yeah.
ever.
Hey, Mike, a
He
genius
takes
made
credit
that.
for other people's work and then runs it into the ground and then acts like he's some kind of super genius.
Oh God, man.
Yeah, like all
Man.
the monkeys, all the test monkeys for his brain implant chips died horribly.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
But he's proceeding to human trials where it's like and and his measure of success is, but did you die though? I mean, what the fuck? Well, actually, 70% of the time people did die.
Oh God. Yeah.
I mean, seventy
Yeah.
percent of his rockets have exploded. I mean, if NASA had a 70, that's a 70, not 17, which is one
Seven
seven, but 70,
seven
seven
zero.
zero percent failure rate. If NASA had
Mm-hmm.
that failure rate, it would have gotten shut down.
Yeah.
But Elon
Yeah,
Musk
rightfully
has a
so.
70% failure rate, and he's lauded as some kind of genius. It's like, dude, no, that's moving backward.
We going backwards in time, Mike. I'm telling you, man.
Oh my
Goddamn
god.
bathroom garbage cans and shit.
I mean,
Like, come on, man.
so yeah, this is a boy who decided, yeah, I'm going to make myself look like a 1990s body horror comic book drawing,
Oh my God.
and
I can't
design
get
a
that out of my
vehicle
head.
to be the flagship of the car company I bought that looks like a trash can or a dumpster that randomly bursts into flame and crashes because the automated pilot doesn't work for shit.
Yeah, the pedal
And
sticks
I'm going
too.
to design rockets that work about as well as the Stockton Rush Ocean Gate submersible.
Oh my God, bro.
No, no,
We go.
no, Muskrat. No, if Muskrat really wants to prove his genius, Muskrat, Melonhead, Liefeld boy, are you listening? Are you watching?
I hope you watch. Yeah.
Are you paying attention? Here, look. If you want to prove that you're a man, if you want to show what a genius you are, I dare you. I fucking dare you to get up in one of your rockets and blast off to Mars
Oh man.
this week. Right?
Oh yes,
I want you.
please,
I want you on that launch pad in the
please do it.
rescue rocket to get those astronauts out of the International Space Station. I want you going up in that next rocket just to prove that your rockets are what you say they are.
Please do it. Oh
I'll
hell
bet you're
yeah.
too much of a pussy to fucking do it.
Hey, if we do it, it'll be better for humanity, man. I'm telling you. Hey,
Yeah,
I'll be
if
so
you're so
happy.
confident that your rocket will not explode, I want you to get up in it and take off, okay? If William Shatner could get into a penis rocket designed by Jeff Bezos and go up into the upper stratosphere, and come back
A
down the line. I'm
penis.
pretty sure you can
I
do it,
remember.
Muskrat. Okay,
Oh God, bro. He had a penis rocket. Oh my
yeah.
God, bro.
Elon
I can't.
suck.
Elon Muck. Elon Fuck. Elon
Mark
Puck.
Zuckerberg. Yeah,
Yeah, fuck him.
yeah.
Oh my God,
Or Stark
man.
Zuckerberg. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
weirdo
yeah.
alien looking bitch. I don't know.
Like a damn
Seriously, I
AI.
mean, but, these boys fancy themselves the cream of the crop for humanity. Why do they look
Yeah.
like fucking aliens?
All of them do. Yeah, exactly.
Freakish
What the
bodily
fuck?
proportions. Weird. I mean,
Eyes like this.
that guy who does that show, Ancient Aliens, or whatever that show is called, where he tries to attribute to alien extraterrestrial influence all the pyramids in Egypt and South America and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, which is racist as fuck because you're assuming that these ancient peoples were too primitive to do anything until white people came along. No, 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 no. It had to be extraterrestrials, right, Timmy?
Timmy, Timmy
Oh,
boy.
Timmy, Lassie's coming to get you. She's going to maul you to death because she's fed up with your bullshit.
Timmy boy. Oh my
Oh
God,
yeah,
man.
yeah. I meant to show you. While we're on this subject, let me show you my uh, Twitter because there's a troll who's been backing up maggot cheese. Uh, he's not very bright. Okay, so I've been calling him Timmy because he's like Timmy from Lassie. Uh, because if you're not familiar, if you're anything younger than Generation X or elder millennial, okay, you probably uh, if you're younger than that, you probably have never seen this. But there's a TV show and a series of movies starring a, a collie, a border collie named Lassie, that was actually played for most of its run by a male collie. But yeah, talk about gender bending. But
Yeah.
but Lassie was a border collie that was constantly having to rescue her human owner Timmy from all sorts of scrapes. He was constantly falling into the well. So John
John.
is here. Yeah, yeah, he's one of Maggot Cheese's simps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was calling you a special kind of stupid, ain't you, Timmy? And because he was basically uh, bitching about ableism in terms of like someone who's actually done volunteer with disabled people and so someone posted a comment in response to that, and then he was like, "Oh, you're ableist for saying that. Like, delete your profile." And so I'm posting. Okay, there's something ironic here that a guy who presumes to be a defender of the disabled
Oh.
and and a champion of political correctness, because you don't want to attack disabled people, right?
Exactly.
You're a
Yeah.
defender of the disabled. That means you're going to call out any instance of ableism, right? So you're attacking people who are disabled, but you're actually claiming that I'm ableist, even though you're the one attacking disabled people. Um, so yeah, he's not too bright. And then, of course, Nico Robin. I don't know who this troll is, but said, "Are they?" No, first of all, who's they? There's just one of me,
They. What?
and
Exactly.
I'm a guy. Okay, you can't actually call me he or him or use his.
And you
Okay,
got your pronoun.
yeah, you can actually use gender specific pronouns for people whose gender you actually know. There's
Exactly.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Okay, Timmy and Jane, all right, or Timmy and Karen. I'm sorry. Yeah, so Timmy and Karen, all right. So yeah, are they referencing the South Park character? Is he using a South Park character as a slur? Fuck that shit. No, I'm using a dog as a slur. You feculent imbecile.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God.
so this is Lassie. It's like, What's that? Something wrong with Timmy? Timmy fell down the well?
Yeah, yeah, that's what you were talking about. Oh my
Yeah,
god, bro. Yeah, they just want something to get offended about. They get their fifis hurt. Oh,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
he
So,
being.
oh, Timmy fell down the well, and you pushed him? Yeah, I'm trying to think
Oh
why,
god.
Timmy. It's because you're fucking annoying.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right. They
Yeah.
are
So,
a special kind
yeah.
of
So,
stupid,
so
man.
yeah. These people are not very bright at all. I mean, they're claiming to be victims, but it's like, well, if you can't take it, don't dish it out in the first place. All right.
Yeah, keep your amps to yourself. Right? Hey, like Jesus, man. Like, yeah, man. Like, you know, like these people keep attacking Liz over her deciding to go to Ohio and shit like that.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck do you care? I mean, have you taken a look at the country lately? Most states are red states now because the Democrats refuse to run in like 65% of districts are completely unchallenged,
Yeah,
uncontested, which means they don't even bother running candidates against the incumbent Republicans.
exactly.
That's how degraded I mean, the only reason Barry Obama won in 2008 was because Howard Dean became the chairman of the Democratic National Committee in 2006. Uh, no, actually, no, in 2005, I think it was. Um, he became the chairman of the Democratic National Committee. Uh, Guy had stepped down because they blew the 2004 election against the Shrub by running John Kerry, who's one of the most
Oh
granny
God.
fucking candidates, monotonous voice, motherfuckers with all the personality of a plank of wood voting against him.
Yeah.
So, so Howard Dean, after his own presidential campaign imploded, he became DNC chair, and he decided to implement a 50-state strategy, which meant basically going back into all 50 states, running in every fucking district possible, and taking ownership of it. And as a result, the Democrats won control of the House of Representatives in 2006. And in 2008, they won the Senate and the White House and kept the House of Representatives. So they have the trifecta.
Yeah.
So guess what Obama does after he gets elected? He disbands that. Howard Dean has shown the door. Barely squeaks
Yeah.
by to re-election in 2012 against Mitt Romney, one of the worst Republican candidates in modern times.
Yeah. A guy
Worse
that
than
said a
even
racial
John
slur
McCain,
too.
right? I didn't think you could get a worse Republican candidate in the 2000s than John McCain and Mitt Romney. I mean,
Barely
granted, there was what's his name, who was Fred Thompson, but his campaign was barely existent, and he put people. He was a great cure for insomnia.
Yeah.
People actually fell asleep during his speeches. So, yeah, um, yeah well, wow, 2008. That was such a wild ride. But
It was. It
but
was. Yeah.
but yeah. So so Obama loses Congress in 2008, 2010. I mean,
Yeah, 10.
uh, they do poorly in the midterms. They do poorly in 2012. Obama barely hangs on to the White House. They lose big time in 2016.
Yeah.
The only reason they won in 2008 and 2020 was because of backlash against Trump and
Yeah.
his handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
But then they went on to blow it last year,
By running
arguably
it.
worse than Hillary Clinton in 2016, because at least Hillary Clinton in 2016 won the popular vote,
Yeah.
and Holocaust terrorists couldn't even do that.
My God. You couldn't get no worse than that, Mike.
Could Yeah.
I think she's the worst. Yeah. I don't think she gonna win governor. If she run for governor in California, I don't think she'll win that, man. Like,
Nobody likes her in California.
I know she ain't win a delegate. Remember that?
Well, yeah, but even her time as attorney general, people hated her guts.
Yeah, yeah. I talked to a lot of people in California. That they say they hate her. Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah.
is not going to get the governorship, and Gavin Newsom can pretty much kiss his ass goodbye in terms
A
of his
joke.
ambitions for the White House because he's shown himself to be completely without any kind of morals.
Yeah, he done. Yeah, I agree.
He's another Republican wannabe. I mean, why don't Democrats just stop pretending and re-register as Republicans? I mean, they're
All
all being
same.
bribed by APAC anyway. The few who are not. I mean, Thomas Massey, who's a Republican degenerate in the House of Representatives, uh, he's one of the few Republicans who doesn't take APAC money. APAC being the American Israel Political Action Committee. Well, these are the donors. These are the top donors, and their allies for 2023 and 2024. And I'm pretty sure it also shows their recipients. But they've got Miriam Adelson, which I think is Sheldon Adelson's widow or daughter. I forget which. Uh, you've got Jan Koum, Ukrainian American billionaire, founder of WhatsApp, Burlingame, California. So basically a Nazi. Um,
Yeah.
Adelson, Nazi. Jonathan Jacobson, Bernard Marcus, David Zalek, Paul Singer, Haim Saban. He did all those cartoons. He's the one who brought these Japanese kaiju shows, giant robot shows, over and re-edited and dubbed them and combined with American actors to make the Power Rangers. And he also
Oh.
imported a bunch of foreign cartoons that were dubbed into English. And so, like Saban's Adventures of the Little Mermaid, for example, that was an ongoing series during the 1990s alongside Power Rangers. Then you've got Helene Lerner, Mark Rowan, Rachel Corp Leon, Probity International, which is a real estate development company out of Beverly Hills. There's Paul Levy, Deborah Simon, Kraft Group LLC. So basically, Robert Kraft and the Kraft family holding. If you don't know who Kraft is, that's Kraft mac and cheese. There's Phil
Yeah.
Del Toledo, Linda Rubin, Herb Shear, Andrew Schwarzenberg. I almost said Schwarzenegger. No, that's no, totally different. That's Andrew Schwartzberg. Michael LaFell, Arthur Wynn, Larry Mitzel, David Messer. Yeah, so basically a lot of fascists and
Yeah, Nazis. Yeah.
Zionists. Yeah. These guys are some of the worst in terms of moneyed interests. And so check APAC.com, and that'll show you the donors. So this is an Israel lobby tracker for Congress, for example. So let's see, who's my representative? Oh no, I've got a feeling I know who my representative is. But yeah, this gives you a map. Scroll down to Ohio. So yeah, Bernie Moreno, who is our new senator here in Ohio, beat Sherrod Brown in
Oh
a
yeah.
barely contested election because Sherrod Brown was trying to out-Trump Donald Trump on everything from immigration to his anti-China position and throwing trans people under the bus. People who shot down the anti-abortion legislation in 2023, and because they had used transphobia to try and push the anti-abortion amendment, and voters pretty much shot that down with an amendment of their own that says, nope, we're going to make abortion legal here. So yeah, you've got Bernie Moreno, who beat Sherrod Brown, John Husted, who's our senator is newly appointed, but he was originally our Secretary of State here in Ohio. But let's not think that only Republicans are on the take from APAC. Greg Landsman from Ohio, First District, Ohio House.
Yeah.
David Taylor, Republican. Joyce Beatty, Democrat, took $75,200. Landsman took $185,100. Jim Jordan, of course, took
Yeah.
8,000. Yeah, so he's taking less than some Democrats. Marcy Kaptur took $114,100 from the Israel lobby. Chantel Brown, $1,137,080.
Damn.
Yeah, $1,137,086 from APAC.
Holy shit. That's more
Yeah,
than
Chantel
man.
Brown, the one whose
Beat Nina
campaign,
Turner.
yeah, twice. Yeah, Nina Turner let herself be turned into Bernie Sanders twice against Chantel Brown. Yeah, Nina, I love you,
Nina.
but you're not too bright if you think you're going to be Bernie Sanders and run within the party against an extreme right wing Democrat
Oh God.
in an election that was shady as fuck.
Yeah.
Then you've got
Is it?
Amelia Sykes, another Democrat, $220,601. And yeah, so basically, campaign bribes from the Zionist lobby are bipartisan. They're, don't think for a moment that this is just limited to Republicans. No, Democrats are, in many cases, taking even more money than Republicans. So Rick
Yeah.
Scott, obviously, $626,972. You've got, let's see, Maxwell Frost,
8 grand.
Florida
Wow.
Democrat, 10th District, $8,354 from APAC. Kathy Castor, Democrat, 14th District, $94,910. Lois Frankel, $600,942. Jared Moskowitz, $304,550. Sheila Sharfilis McCormick, Democrat, $222,293. Frederica Wilson, $48,150. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, $956,334. This was 2023 and 2024, basically. That's not counting
Yeah.
previous years. Then,
Oh
of course, it gives you
shit.
an option to download the graphics so you can see, in a handy chart, just which of your state's representatives are on the take.
That's insane.
Try Massachusetts, actually, my favorite state. Because I do have friends in Massachusetts. I've been there a few times already. Fell in love with Boston. Elizabeth Warren,
I need to go there.
$298,493. Next election
Wow.
is in 2030. Ed Markey, $140,421, up for re-election. That was in 2024. Wants to put us onto permanent daylight savings time. You feculent bitch! Put us on permanent standard time. God.
Yes. I've been saying that for years, man. Ah, these people so
Richard
stupid.
Neal, Democrat, $111,800. Jim McGovern, Democrat, $67,375. Lori Trahan, $47,188. Jake Auchinosis or Auchincloss, what Christ, some 18th century, 17th century sounding fucking name. Oh my God, come into the 21st century. Auchincloss. Oh my God. Why don't I just change your name to Obadiah? Obadiah Auchincloss, okay?
Oh my god.
Being out of an H.P. Lovecraft novel. Oh my God.
Oh shit.
Fucking Massachusetts, dude.
Massachusetts is yeah, that's a place,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
$627,946. Catherine Clark, $442,442. Seth Moulton, $88,416. Ariana Presley, we approve. Okay, it doesn't show how much money she took, but she's supposedly a member of the squad. No.
Yeah.
Stephen Lynch, $1,500. Well, it just shows what a cheap ass he is to buy.
$1,000. Oh my
Yeah, I
god.
mean, seriously, I mean, how do you get bought for only $1,500? I mean, that boy must be
It,
desperate for any penny he can
hell
spare.
yeah, desperate. Yeah.
It's like maybe if you didn't spend all your money on hookers and blow, you wouldn't have to settle for 1,500. Okay. Oh my god! If you're not easily bought for just 1 month's rent
Yeah,
on an apartment,
that's
that's
Liz's
a
rent.
problem. Okay. I mean, Chantel Brown took over $1 million. Okay.
Damn. Oh
Because
wow.
APEC was hell bent on defeating Nina Turner. But Bill Keating, Democrat, $38,605. So yeah, and this is from a state that is basically all Democrat. Where
Yeah.
Republicans, have very little in the way of actual elected representatives. They're all on the take or approved by Israel, and it can go by each state in the union. So New York, let's see now. Hakeem Jeffries, $1,635,617. Let's see. Chuck Schumer, $1,727,974,000. Kirsten Gillibrand, $925,373. Let's see. Gregory Meeks, $606,017. Yvette Clark, $89,856. Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, we approve. Just shows how pathetic she
Look at
is.
me.
Bends over for free, just like Presley does. It's like, what the fuck? I mean,
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
more respect in my
Eh,
heart for the guy who took $1,500 than I do for Presley and Ocasio Cortez, because they're bending over for free.
Yeah.
And as much as a bitch as that guy from Massachusetts was, like $1,500, really? You're that cheap to
That's
bite off?
look at George
But, but,
Latimer.
but at least
Latimer.
he had to be bought. The other two are just dumb. All right. Oh my god.
Oh god.
At least Stefanik, one
On
million
me.
$5,706. Joe Morell, $162,220. So Tim Kennedy, $44,250. So yeah, this is APEC Tracker is a really good website if you want to know who actually owns our politicians
Yeah. Yeah.
and how much
Yeah.
they're getting paid,
Yeah. Yeah, that killed me,
and who's
man.
actually
15.
willing to bend over for free.
Yeah. Or $1,500. That's Liz's rent. Oh my god.
Just
Yeah,
for
like
1 month's rent.
one more rent. God damn.
So have you know? I mean, okay, I know now why this guy is able to show his face in public, because as pathetic as he is for being bought for $1,500, Presley and Ocasio Cortez were bought.
Yeah.
They weren't even bought. They just do it for free. So
For free, yeah.
what's their fucking, or at least their bribes have not been disclosed yet. Okay, that they may have taken money, we don't know, but because it's not
Yeah.
listed on the website. But until we get actual numbers, we have to assume that they are that pathetic that they just sold out for free.
Yeah.
Oh,
Exactly.
and by the way, Mahmoud, who was living in New York,
Yeah.
Ocasio Cortez, a member of the squad, there are only 14 members of Congress who signed the letter demanding that he be released. Ocasio Cortez could not fucking be bothered to sign that letter. Now, I know it's just
Wow.
performative,
Yeah.
but if you're
But
callous enough that you can't even do the bare minimum of performative theater to pretend that you care about an American permanent resident being illegally imprisoned,
yeah. What a
and
joke.
deported on bullshit accusations and no criminal charges. Just accuse him of a crime and deport him or throw him in prison. No charge, no trial. He's guilty without any presumption of innocence.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's
Fucking God. I mean,
yeah,
this is how fucking useless Ocasio Cortez has turned out to be. All right, she went from
yeah,
getting elected in 2018 and sounding like she was, all progressive and with that bullshit DSA, uh,
yeah.
uh,
The
yeah, whatever that thing was that the Young Turks and Kyle Kalinske and so that they're Justice Democrats, kind of pushing those frauds
yeah,
and all that progressive sounding rhetoric. Nope, gone.
yeah. That shit went down the toilet when Nancy Pelosi intervened.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
I've been bullied enough in real life that people like uh, maggot cheese and John do not fucking.
John.
Oh, and dreaded Bay popped up again too. By the way, um, under one of your various user handles, but yeah, this is the kind of bullshit that we have to deal with. But online trolls are not scary. But who else is not scary to me? Members of Congress, because they're all bitches. All right,
Yeah.
these are the people who happily send people like you and me off to fight, kill, and die in wars.
Yeah. Exactly.
And they've got no problem being bullies to people without power. But I guarantee you, in the highly unlikely event that I were ever to run for Congress and win, there's no fucking way that you're going to get me to back down on something.
Oh hell no. Oh no.
Because I am a medieval enthusiast. I will bring my medieval mace, flanged
Hell
mace,
yeah.
by the way, and keep it
Hell yeah.
on my wall to be brought down to be used anytime some motherfucker comes in, like Pelosi or Jeffries or whatever, demanding that I vote a certain way on a bill. Break his fucking jaw or her fucking jaw and just say, no. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to march up onto that floor and you're going to bring this bill to a vote right here, HR 676 that Dennis Kucinich and John Conyers first tried introducing back during the Bush-Cheney years to restore and Medicare and expand it to cover every American. You're going to bring that up for a floor vote. I don't give a fuck if there's a Democrat in the White House who refuses to sign it into law. I don't give a fuck if
That's how
there's
you do it.
if there's like 59 Republican senators and 41 Democrats
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. It's like, if you don't bring this bill to the floor for a vote, I am not going to vote for anything that you want me to vote for. And if my vote ends up being the deciding vote on something that you want, then guess what? You had your chance to get my vote on it, and you blew it because you wouldn't give me a vote on my bill or the
Yep.
bill or someone else's bill that I wanted you to bring up for a floor vote. That
Yep.
is how power fucking works. That is why the Republicans, when they took control of the House of Representatives in 2022, when they won in 2022, and January 3rd, 2023, we had that chaos. Kevin McCarthy lost on the first round of voting. I mean, he eventually got the job after making concessions. But the Republicans make their leaders give them promises, and they hold them to it. You want to know why George H.W. Bush lost to Bill Clinton in 1992? It's because you had a stupid little bitch of a nepo baby named Grover Norquist, anti-tax zealot. Okay, he thinks the rich should not have to pay any taxes whatsoever. Okay, so he went around the country in the late 80s, early 90s, getting politicians, including George H.W. Bush, to sign a pledge saying that I will not raise taxes if elected. All right. So George H.W. Bush signed on to this pledge in order to get votes from this bloc in 1988. And he went back on that promise because even though George H.W. Bush is evil incarnate. I mean, he's dead now, but he's still evil incarnate. Okay, his undead corpse is wandering around somewhere, draining blood out of goats somewhere in South America, in his old CIA stomping grounds. But he signed that pledge, and then he ran into Congress and said, "No, we have to pay for all this military spending for this Iraq thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to raise taxes." And Bush, to his credit, he went before the nation and took responsibility for it and said, "Yeah, look, I know I promised that no new taxes, but Congress overruled me on this. They've got the votes to make it happen and to override any veto that I do. So I'm going to sign this with reservations, but I got to do it."
Yep.
So we'll give him credit for owning up to having broken his promise and been willing to take the hit for it. And he paid the price politically because in 1992, Norquist convinced H. Ross Perot to run on the Reform Party ticket, saying, "Oh, we've got to run the government like a business." Well, guess what? Bill Clinton, the guy who actually won the election that year, he ran government like a business.
Yep. Yep.
Trump ran government like a business. Barry Obama ran government like a business. Trump, Biden running government like a business, trying to slash spending, while at the same time cutting taxes, thinking somehow that by slashing spending alone will be enough to get us back in the black on the ledgers instead of perpetually in the red.
Yeah. Oh,
Government
goodness.
is not a business. You want to know why? Because government can print its own currency and decide through monetary policy how much that currency is worth. Businesses cannot mint their own currencies. They don't have anything backing it up.
Yep.
Cannot produce treasury bonds. They don't have gold reserves.
Exactly.
Governments do.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to talk about monetary theory next
Yeah,
episode.
well, here's the thing. Tax the fuck out of the rich.
Yep.
Okay, we're talking like 95% rates, like during the 1950s when Dwight Eisenhower was president. The federal income tax rate went as high as 90%.
Yeah.
And slash military spending to the bone, okay? There's no fucking reason why we need to have 800 fucking military bases around the planet surrounding Russia, China, whatever other country we want to dominate.
Denmark. Yeah.
Denmark, yeah. But there's no fucking reason we should have military bases in any country other than our own to defend our borders.
I think China got one or two. Come on, man.
I don't think it has any beyond its own borders.
Yeah. Like that's all you need. One military.
Yeah. So you end all the wars, end all the regime change operations, or as I like to call them, government overthrow operations, because a lot of these aren't actually regimes, or democratically elected legitimate governments that we're overthrowing and installing brutal dictatorships. Those are the regimes. But we end all the wars, stop overthrowing other nations' governments. It's not our job to do that. Bring our people home, close down all those military bases. Sorry, South Korea, you're on your own. You don't want us there anyway. We don't want to be there. Japan, you're on your own. You deal with China. We'll get out of Okinawa. Oh, and those military personnel who keep raping your women, yeah, you can have them. We don't want them. They're disgraces to the uniform. Do whatever the fuck you want with them, all right? Philippines, sorry, you're going to have to give up trying to help us peel Taiwan away from the mainland of China. Because there are Filipinos who want us out of there anyway, because we are colonizers there still.
Yeah.
So, okay, bye-bye. I still want to go be there with my fiance and marry her, and if not live there, then at least go back and visit, whenever possible. But no, I don't want any American military bases in the Philippines.
Exactly. I mean,
I don't want it in South Korea. I don't want it in Japan or Taiwan or in South America or Central America. I don't want a Guantanamo Bay in Cuba anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get the fuck out of Cuba.
Yeah.
and the
And
sanctions program against Cuba.
yeah, that don't make any sense. You got a sanctions program, but you have a basically a goddamn torture encampment. What? That don't make any sense to me.
Yeah,
That's the United States for you.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. Get the fuck out of Puerto Rico, okay? Let it have its independence, all right?
yeah, I agree with that, 100%.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, Puerto Rico's got to make a decision. Either it becomes a full state with all the rights and voting privileges in Congress that its uh, representatives should have, because Puerto Rico
yeah.
does have congressional representatives, but they're not allowed to vote on legislation.
Then
They're
what's the
basically
point of
just
them?
there to watch and take notes.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
That's
Puerto
crazy.
Rico is an American territory. Its citizens are American citizens,
Yeah, yeah,
regardless of whether Caligula Drumpf acknowledges it or not, because he said after Hurricane Maria, the president of Puerto Rico needs to take care of his own country. Drumpf, you're the president of Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico is American.
yeah. It's American territory.
Yeah.
Drumpf.
So either make it the
Stupid.
51st, like either make Puerto Rico the real 51st state, or cut it loose and let it be its own sovereign nation.
Yeah,
I think it
I
should be its
take
own
the
sovereign nation,
sovereign nation. Yeah,
personally. But
yeah.
that's up to the
It'll
people of
drive
Puerto Rico.
better.
Yeah, but that's ultimately got to be up to the people of Puerto Rico.
Yeah,
But that's you cut all that bullshit out, and and tax the fuck out of the rich. You'd be surprised at how much money you can free up for ending homelessness, ending hunger, uh,
yeah,
uh, pandemic mitigation, public education,
yeah. Exactly.
health care for
Yeah,
every single American.
yeah. Do you know how many people's lives would be improved? So man, people actually be happy for once. Like that's why
Yeah, I
everybody's so
know. I mean,
fucking depressed. And
yeah,
yeah,
Finland
cause
had this program where they just uh, took a bunch of people, just gave them housing, no strings attached, to see, what would happen if they had housing. And guess what? They weren't lazy. They went to work, got jobs, productive
yeah,
members of society, but they were able to devote 100% of their time to that because they weren't having to move all the time on account of not being able to afford rent.
yeah,
And because they're not homeless, they
yeah,
can actually keep their jobs.
yeah. And they also too they ain't have to make GoFundmes to rely to eat. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
because healthcare is
that's what we.
provided.
Yeah, yeah. Or
So,
make GoFundmes for healthcare. Yeah. So
yeah.
I mean, yeah, yeah. The
And
United
now they
States
want to
needs.
eliminate the Department of Education.
Oh God. Yeah.
But of course, they're not going to eliminate our student loan debt. No, no, we're still stuck.
Oh, he. Yeah, and then Drumpf limit the student loan debt cancellation program too by executive order. So yeah, just
Yeah.
um,
Like I said, we are living in the worst fucking timeline.
yeah, 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 and and they see why people are not having kids at high rates anymore. Like
Yeah, it's like, how the fuck are we
I,
going to have kids? We can't afford children. We can't afford
I
housing.
know I could
We
barely
can't
afford
afford
to eat.
food.
I could barely afford to eat. Eggs is like fucking $10 now at my grocery store. Like,
Yeah,
come
we
on,
can't
man.
afford to get our teeth repaired and kept clean. I mean, I try and keep them as clean as possible, but
Yeah,
uh, there's only so much that toothpaste and mouthwash and flossing can do
yeah,
after
yeah,
decades of tooth decay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I never actually went to the dentist until 2007. I was 33
Wow,
the first time I went to the dentist because my mother never saw fit to take my brother and me.
wow.
She
Yeah,
went to the dentist.
yeah.
My dad
I
and my brothers and me, no, we were on our own.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I went to the dentist for the first time last year, because my job, I finally got insurance for my job. So yeah, and so yeah, like
Yeah, I actually
yeah,
got thrown off of Medicaid because my unemployment benefits are apparently too high to qualify. But I'll be able to
yeah,
reapply for Medicaid once my unemployment benefits run out in a few weeks.
yeah. So you have health insurance but no incomes. Wow,
Yeah.
that yeah, that's
So yeah, I got to get hired somewhere soon.
yeah, Yeah. Um,
Fingers
before we
crossed. But yeah,
yeah. Before we go, I'm gonna share your GoFundMe link. Um,
yeah. Thanks, by the way.
yeah,
But yeah, I got to get
yeah,
better lighting or something because my glasses are reflecting off the window. Oy, so I
yeah.
take my glasses
All
off.
right,
So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, guys, this is Mike's GoFundMe link. He had his last donation was a month ago, so if you got a few dollars to spare, anything helps. Um, yeah. So
yeah, I do have all the textbooks that were recommended for the course. I had to pay out of pocket for those. So yeah, that's part of
yeah,
the cost that I'm trying
yeah,
to recover.
yeah. Cause guys, textbooks is not cheap. I know,
No,
I
they're
know,
not.
I know. When I
I
was in
guarantee
college,
you they're
man.
not.
Whew, yeah,
I got my master's degree in 2023. Finally, went back after. See, 2016. I went back a couple years after graduating with my bachelor's in 2014, and then so 2016 I went back to start my master's program. Unfortunately, I still needed to work during that period, which you really probably shouldn't do if you're going through a master's program, especially one as intensive as history, uh, and with some unforgiving professors who do not take any uh, excuses. So I still had to work, and then I had to move that year because of a bed bug infestation where I was staying. Fortunately, they did not follow me because I knew uh, to look up proper mitigation techniques and implement them. No, I'm not learning to live with bed bugs.
yeah,
Okay, don't live with COVID. Don't live with bed bugs. Okay, mitigate.
yeah,
Look up how.
yes,
But so I had to move, and that took time away from my studies, and then I had to get two jobs, uh, and yeah, so I ended up getting booted out of the program and didn't get to go back until 2022, and then I was able to complete my degree and graduate in 2023. But I've been trying to find permanent full time work, preferably in my field of study, but here in the United States, it just is not going to happen. So, uh, but yeah, I've wanted for years to teach, and this is probably my last best opportunity to do it and make any kind of living in my preferred profession. So, if it can help me get there, help me pay for my TEFL courses, recoup the money that I spent on that, because I had to sacrifice my tax refund from last year in order to pay for the course. So, and I'm
yeah,
only about a quarter of the way through it. So, uh, please donate what you can. Any amount helps, even if it's just like a dollar. You know, even a dollar helps. And then if 70 people donate a dollar each, that's $700. That'll help me get to my goal.
yeah, yeah, guys. Let's help Mike out. Yeah, um, yeah. This be a great opportunity for him. I know it will. So, all right, Mike. Before we go, any last words?
To quote Joe Biden, never trust a fart. So I just I was watching one of his videos from during his failed dictatorship, and yeah, that boy was so far gone he couldn't even think to hold it in anymore.
Oh God.
So
Yeah.
sorry, but when you're walking up to the podium and then walking right past it because you just shat yourself, and you're like, nope, not going to step up to the podium, not going to speak. I'm just going to go right backstage and get my diaper changed, preferably by one of the female Secret Service members, so she can watch. Because Biden's a creep, you know.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
seriously, Biden, when he was VP, there's a story that uh, he made sure that the female Secret Service members had to stand there and watch him swim in the nude.
Oh my lord.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
I'm not even joking, and it's not funny either. He did that.
Oh my god. Yeah.
This guy is a lifelong
What?
serial sexual harasser and molester. I mean, just look up his C-SPAN videos. I mean, and I know people like to call him a pedophile. I don't think he is. I think he, like most sexual predators, his victims are chosen based on opportunity and uh, lack of power. All right, who are the least
Yeah.
likely to be believed? Women in no position of power and children.
Yeah.
So if you've got the opportunity to cop a grope, and George H.W. Bush did the same thing in his final years. Uh, he would tell teenage girls, "Hey, want me to show you a magic trick?" And then he would grab them. Bill Clinton actually sexually assaulted a former roommate of mine. Uh, Apparently, and I heard this from the roommate. I moved in there in 2016, but she was a volunteer on Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign, and apparently at some event, Clinton groped her.
Wow.
Yeah, just yeah, no shame, no hesitation, just yeah. So yeah, that's what these creeps are all about. And if you don't, and of course, Drumpf boasts about how women will supposedly let you do whatever just because you have power. Now, to be fair, and I can't believe people make me defend Trump on anything. I fucking
Oh
hate
boy.
this. Why? What is wrong with you people? Why are you making me defend Caligula Trump? But when he was doing that interview, where he was talking about how you can grab them by the what,
Yeah.
that was kind of locker room talk. But he wasn't saying that he had actually grabbed women by their privates. He was just saying that they will let you grab them by the privates because they're drawn to power. Now, that's still horrible enough, okay, and
Yeah.
betrays the kind of mindset that creeps like him have. But let's not lie about it, okay? Don't twist it into something that's not true because then you just discredit yourself, all right? Uh, that's why, Russiagate was probably one of the worst things the Democrats could have done to themselves as far as their credibility because now nobody believes it because they spent so many years lying and then nobody bringing up any actual evidence. Because
Yeah.
accusations are not evidence. Just like there's no actual evidence of COVID originating in a laboratory. Apparently, the German equivalent of the CIA just released a report claiming a laboratory origin, but cited, again, no evidence whatsoever. But if you look at my pinned thread on my Twitter timeline, I provide all sorts of sources that show no, this came from nature most likely, because when you've got every credible virologist and immunologist studying the virus. Remember, SARS-CoV-2 is arguably the most studied virus on the planet
Oh
for
yeah.
obvious reasons because it caused a pandemic in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And they still could not find any evidence of it having been engineered in a laboratory. All signs point to uh, natural recombination in a host animal that was infected with two different strains of coronavirus.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there is some evidence that it was popping up in the United States and Europe, in the spring of 2019. We're back.
Yeah. Okay.
Connection
Yeah.
cut out for a minute. All right. So, but
Okay.
yeah, there is evidence in early 2019, like as early as March, of SARS-CoV-2 showing up in sewage samples in Spain dated to March of 2019, I mean. And then all those vaping deaths in the United States, there's speculation, although, again, we have no actual evidence of this, but there's speculation that people alleged to have died from toxic vaping sticks uh, may actually have had COVID.
Oh. Oh
But
wow.
again, we don't
Okay.
know for sure. So, uh,
Yeah.
but then some of the people pushing the German report were saying, "Oh no, it definitely came from a lab. It was just a U.S. lab." It's like, no, it didn't come from a U.S. lab. Okay, we got no evidence for it. Okay, this is why I can't spread these fucking mush brain conspiracy fantasies because they discredit the left.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
stupid. They're based on pure conjecture and fantasy, no evidence backing them up, and they make us out to look like a bunch of liars. Because and why would you believe a governmental spy agency, the job of which is to lie to us, to
Yeah,
deceive us into thinking things so that we support policies against countries like China that the West wants to overthrow and break up, like they did the Balkans?
exactly.
Why are you
Exactly.
taking these assholes at their word when their evidence amounts to just trust us? No, I'm not going to fucking trust you. Doorknob trusts them. Doorknob trusts the CIA. Doorknob trusts the BND and the NSA and all the U.S. spy agencies. He's very
Yeah.
selective in what he chooses to be critical about. In terms of exercising critical thinking, he's very selective in that.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yep.
while he claims that the government that lied to us about WMDs in Iraq, the same government that lied us into war in Ukraine, the same government that lied us into pretty much every fucking war since World War II, but it can absolutely be trusted to tell us that COVID-19 is a biological weapon no worse than the common cold cooked up in a Chinese laboratory as an
Yeah, I kind of
excuse
knew
to
that was
get us
crap.
all vaccinated.
Yeah, but so they can control us. Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
with microchips or nanochips, because
Oh my
oh
god, man.
god, the fucking stupidity of these people. And you're going to go ahead and have us believe that the same liars who've been deceiving us from day one on everything from how the war in Ukraine got started,
Yeah.
but they can be
Oh,
trusted to tell us the truth about COVID. See,
yeah.
there's a thing you need called actual fucking evidence, credible
Yeah.
eyewitnesses. You
Exactly.
have to be able to eliminate possibilities. Okay, it's the principle of Occam's razor. Okay, it's like with these moronic 9/11 conspiracy fantasies. Okay, where they claim they saw molten steel coming out of the twin towers at the crash sites, never thinking that it might have been molten aluminum from the aircraft, or aluminum alloy, I should say, because they're never all aluminum. It's usually an alloy to help strengthen the frame. Uh, because they say, oh, it can't be aluminum because aluminum goes white hot when it's melted. No, no, not if there's impurities in it. Not
Yeah.
if it's an alloy where there's something else that would make the glow orange.
Yeah.
You have to be able to eliminate other possibilities before you can say definitively that it had to be molten steel, because steel doesn't actually melt at 1500 degrees.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you know what does happen to steel when it reaches 60% of its melting point? It does lose 50% of its structural strength. That happens to all metals. Okay, this is basic metallurgy 101.
Yeah.
At 60% of their metal melting point, all metals lose half their strength. So the columns do not need to melt in order for the towers to collapse. You had spray on installation, which got ripped away when the airliners crashed into the building. And the remaining columns were exposed for an extended period of time to temperatures between 1500 and 1800 degrees, which is well within the temperature at which steel starts to warp and buckle and turn into silly putty.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, your entire bullshit narrative falls apart because you can't be bothered to read a fucking book on metallurgy. But you expect people to believe that the Twin Towers were brought down by controlled demolition.
Oh my god.
Fuck you,
I
9/11
can't.
truthers. You're a bunch of fucking liars.
Man, when I heard that shit, I knew that shit was bullshit.
Yeah,
I knew it was bullshit from the
yeah,
jump.
and plus people who don't know what an exploding generator sounds like. It's like, excuse me, electrical generators do tend to explode violently when they've got a lot of stuff collapsing down on top of them and crushing them. What do you think they're going to make no sound whatsoever,
Yeah. Right.
or that the sound is going to be drowned out somehow by the sound of a collapsing building? Use your fucking heads, people. There was a
Yeah.
gaping hole torn into Building 7, and fires again raging out of control. Support columns that have been torn away and weakened by the fire. Obviously, the fire department's pulled out of there because they realized that they couldn't save the building, and it's a waste of resources in an ongoing emergency to try and save a building that's doomed when you could be
Yeah.
devoting that time and water and energy to saving buildings that can be saved and saving people who are still alive.
Exactly. Exactly.
Sorry, that thing's
Exactly.
coming down no matter what
Yeah.
because a
Yeah.
giant fucking piece of building fell on it and ripped a hole in it.
Yeah. Oh my
We actually
God.
saw pictures of the hole in World Trade Center Tower 7. Those
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah.
We even have one video, although it's very difficult to see, but we even have one video showing the airliner crashing into the Pentagon. We can only see the tail fin sticking up because there's a bunch of
Yeah.
obstacles in front of it. But
Yeah.
we
The
saw the tail
CCTV.
fin on the CCTV. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, it had to be a missile because a plane couldn't possibly do. First
That
of
was a
all, no, the
plane.
plane doesn't actually have to land. I mean, this thing was so close to the freaking ground
Yeah.
that if it had had its landing gear down, it would have landed. That's how close it was to the ground.
Yeah.
Because these
Yeah.
guys were good. Okay, they had trained to fly these, and they had done practice runs.
Fraction
They
round.
had
Yeah.
they had taken piloting lessons, not how to land.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe, just maybe, guys who are on lists of known terrorists in Al Qaeda, if they're taking flying lessons but not learning how to land, and we've got warnings coming in from Condoleezza Rice from her subordinates telling the Shub that Al Qaeda is planning to attack the United States using hijacked airliners. Do you think maybe you could put two and two together
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Common
understand? Oh,
sense.
wait a minute.
Common
They probably
sense.
did just fly the airliners into the buildings because guess what? Osama bin Laden was a billionaire son of a multi-billionaire construction dynasty in Saudi Arabia, and he had his degree in civil engineering. Do you think maybe, just maybe, the guy who had previously tried to bring down the World Trade Center, who knows something about civil engineering, might
Yeah.
actually know what the fuck he's doing, and if he failed once, he could keep trying until he got it right?
Yeah.
And he probably used his
Exactly.
connections to get a hold of the schematics, so he would have known exactly what kind of airliner, because those airliners, the buildings were built in the 1970s, and the 747s that
Yeah.
actually I think it was like the 757s or 76.
Boeing.
I forget what
Yeah.
it. Yeah, Boeing. It was either 747 or higher, uh, but but they were larger than what the buildings themselves were designed to withstand impact from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
They,
yeah, I mean, so there's all this reason to think, okay, yeah, that was brought down by Al Qaeda. Now there is a good argument that the Bush Cheney regime sat on its ass and did nothing for 8 months while all this was taking place
yeah.
for various reasons that include, but are not necessarily limited to, wanting an excuse to invade Iraq, uh, being ideologically opposed to lifting a finger to do anything or be proactive,
Yeah.
desire to protect Saudi connections from investigation.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of motivations for why they didn't do anything to prevent the attacks, but they could have. All right, and I think one of the reasons why people come up with conspiracy fantasies is because there's that level of denial that says people can't be so heartless and cruel and stupid to just let a disaster happen if you've got
Yeah.
advance warning about it,
Yeah.
or that you
That's
could
what it is.
dismantle systems designed to be proactive and prevent disasters from happening in the first place because you're ideologically opposed to government doing anything, and so therefore when a disaster happens you're completely unprepared for it. People don't want to believe that that's possible because they want to believe in the back of their minds, in their heart of hearts, that not even right-wingers would be so callously cruel and stupid to be so neglectful. Guess what? Yes, they fucking are.
Yep.
And I know this because I've
Exactly.
been watching them fucking do it for over 30 years.
Exactly.
It's
Yep.
like, grow the fuck up, you conspiracy brain assholes. That's oh my god, that just is that pisses me off.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you, man. Totally. Um, all right, Mike. Wow, 2 hours, man.
Yeah,
This was a good show. It was
yeah.
really
I missed
good.
messages from my fiance. Actually, I suck.
Okay. Okay, guys. So that's episode
Yeah.
6 of the A&M podcast. I'm Andre. He's left Indy. We signing out. All right, Mike. See you next week.
Hey, see ya.
All right.